Today we will be uh, today we will be talking about case history. But before that, learning something today will help us save someone's life tomorrow. So the idea of case history too revolves around this, because if we learn about a patient's personal history, his family history, medical history, or dental history, it might come in handy tomorrow when we are treating the patient. So, what is the definition? According to the definition, case history is a planned professional conversation between patient and doctor, which enables the patient to express his symptoms, fear, and feelings to the clinician so that the nature of patient's real or suspected illness and mental attitude may be determined. So, this is the definition. But as we all know, in very simple terms, what is a case history is it is a record of the patient's personal details, his expectations from the operator, his histories and other findings, which will help us to which will help us arrive at a diagnosis and also help us come up with an effective treatment plan and assess the patient's attitude. Now, importance. To establish diagnosis, to assess the patient's needs, to assess systemic compliance, to prevent medical emergencies with known medical history, to obtain a careful medical, dental, family, social, and sometimes developmental history, and make a risk assessment, to obtain the patient's consent to any investigations required, to obtain the patient's consent to an agreed treatment plan and effective treatment planning. So as we see, case history is important to us in each and every step, right from noting the findings to arriving at a diagnosis, to assess the patient's medical condition, advising if any investigations if necessary, and for treatment planning. Then sequence of recording. Case history needs to be recorded in a particular sequence, which is first personal information, then chief complaint, HOPI, medical, past dental, family and personal history, general examination, extraoral and intraoral examination, provisional diagnosis, investigations, final diagnosis, and treatment plan. So in this presentation, we will be discussing about personal information, chief complaint, and HOPI in detail. So personal information, also known as the demographic details of the patient, includes the registration number, date, name, age, sex, social status, occupation, and residence. So registration number, it helps us to for record maintenance, billing purposes, and medical legal aspects. That is, if like all of us are given a particular roll number, similarly every patient is given a particular registration number. So if we need to pull up a file on any patient, the registration number will help us, because it is easier to maintain a record when a patient is assigned a registration number. Then for billing purposes, if a bill is drawn for any investigation or any treatment done, registration number will help us assign that bill to a particular patient. And medical legal aspects, so if any medical legal scenario were to arise, then all the information and treatment that was done on a patient will be easier to extract if we have the patient's registration number. Then date for reference and record maintenance. So right, when did the patient first enter the clinic with the chief complaint, and when was a particular treatment done? In this case, the date will be useful. Then name, identification. We need to distinguish one patient from another, and name will help us to do so. For communication with the patient, to form a rapport with patient, for record maintenance, just like the registration number, name too helps us maintain a proper record. And psychological benefits. So it is known that if during a communication, if we use the patient's name, he tends to place the trust in the operator. So it has a psychological benefit too. Then age. There are certain conditions that are age related to calculate a suitable dose and for treatment plan. So age related disorders. We know that congenital cleft lip and palate are to be diagnosed at birth. Bleeding disorders are more common in the middle age group of patients, and in old age patients are more likely to have hypertension and diabetes. And dose calculation. So there are three formulae: Young's rule, Clark's rule, and Dieling's rule, which will help us calculate a particular dose for a medicine which is to be given to a patient of a particular age. Then sex. Additional questions like menstruation, pregnancy, oral contraceptives, nursing, etc. We know that we will only ask these patients to a female. Then also a few conditions or diseases are more likely in a particular gender, Like in females, iron deficiency anemia, osteoporosis, TMJ disorders like in PNS are more common. And in males, hemophilia, oral cancer, and pernicious anemia are more common. So we need to pay attention to those two. Then occupation related findings. Dentists and surgeons are more likely to develop hepatitis B, and healthcare workers HIV. This is because of the needle stick injury that these professionals are likely to experience. Then bakers and confectionery workers are more likely to develop dental caries because they are more exposed to carbohydrate dust. Tailors, since they tend to keep their needles between their incisors, typical notching is to be expected in these patients. Musicians will more likely come with a complaint of dry mouth or TMJ pain, and minors with a complaint of silicosis or asbestosis. Then socioeconomic status. So lower socioeconomic status, people from this strata will have less awareness and access to oral health care. And from the higher strata, they have better oral health and lower caries rate. Then residence versus correspondence. We know if a patient is coming from a very far off place, we need to keep the appointments to a minimal so that it does not become very hectic to the patient. Secondly, it gives a geographical prevalence of a disease. So the best example here is fluorosis. We know that a particular states in India are more likely to have cases of fluorosis because of the fluoride belts, and these states are Rajasthan, Telangana, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, and so on. Also, it gives us an idea about the socio-economic status of the patient. Then chief complaint. These were the demographic details. Now chief complaint. Complaints of the patient are recorded in a chronological order in patient's own words. Onset, duration, and progress of each of these symptoms are recorded. It aids in diagnosis and treatment planning and should be given first priority. So chief complaint is the main complaint that the patient comes with to your clinic, and it should be recorded in his own words. And we need to focus our treatment towards this main complaint. Also, it needs to be written in a chronological order. That is, if the patient comes with two complaints, example, pain since 10 days and swelling maybe since 5 days. So in the chief complaint, we will write the patient experiences pain in this so-and-so region since the past 10 days. And then we will mention about the swelling because swelling developed later. Then HOPI, that is history of present illness. It is the record of narrative account of patient's problem from the onset to present time, listing all the symptoms, signs, treatment undergone in a chronological order. So basically, it is a story of the patient right from the moment he realized or he noticed a symptom to the present condition. So if he's been to any particular dentist or hospital for the treatment, or if he has any other symptoms, signs or symptoms that are related to the present condition, all of these needs to be mentioned in the history of present illness. So if the patient comes to you with a chief complaint of pain, then the HOPI will have these subtopics, which can be remembered with the acronym Socrates. So S stands for site, O for onset, C for character, R for radiation, A for associated with, T for time or duration, E for exacerbating and relieving factors, and S for severity. And these were the books that I referred to while making the presentation. Thank you.
And I'm going to continue from what Disha has already explained. So in past medical history and past drug history, in this we take the elaborate medical history that is obtained from the patient, which may or may not be related to the chief complaint, the management of the patient, and the outcome of the treatment. Now, what all can we see in the past medical history? Cardiovascular disorders like myocardial infarction, angina pectoris, congestive cardiac failure, rheumatic heart disease, hypertension, infective endocarditis, etc. Anticoagulants, antihypertensives, and other medications taken by patient are also noted. Respiratory system disorders like bronchial asthma, COPD, bronchitis, etc. These patients may be on bronchodilators, antihistaminics, or steroid therapy. Anesthetic management of the patient may be affected, and history of sleep apnea is also considered in such patients. In neurological disorders, seizures, hemiplegia, head injury, and psychiatric disorders are noted down if any are present. Anti-epileptic drugs Antidepressants or any other medication taken is also noted down. If the patient is an epileptic, then the last episode of seizure and frequency of seizure episodes are recorded. Endocrine disorders like diabetes, hypothyroidism, Cushing syndrome, Addison disease, etc. are noted and medications taken for the same. In case of diabetic patients, the latest blood sugar values must be mentioned with the route of administration of the anti-diabetic therapy, that is, oral or insulin injections. In hemat disorders like anemia, leukemia, hemophilia, platelet count abnormalities, etc., and the last available blood reports pertaining to the condition are noted down. Infectious diseases like AIDS, tuberculosis, syphilis, herpes, etc., and other sexually transmitted diseases are noted down. In reproductive system, pregnant or lactating women, the number of children, abortions, and use of oral contraceptives are indicated. Many common antibiotics are known to have interactions with the oral contraceptives, rendering them ineffective. So the patient must then be advised to practice alternate methods of birth control for this time period. Gastric disorders like peptic ulcer, acidity problems, vomiting, and diarrhea are noted. Renal pathologies like glomerulonephritis, nephrotic syndrome, renal failure, and patients on dialysis are noted. Liver disorders, cirrhosis, alcoholic liver disease, etc. Autoimmune disorders, systemic lupus erythematosus, scleroderma, etc. that require long-term corticosteroid therapy. Allergic reactions to any drugs are noted, childhood illness or birth trauma, details of previous hospitalization, blood transfusion, and surgeries, past or present radiation therapy that is being taken by the patient, current or past medications taken, example, NSAIDs for chronic inflammatory lesions, aspirin, anticoagulant therapy, steroid therapy, etc. These above mentioned conditions can alter the patient's response to surgery and influence the anesthetic and surgical management of the patient as well as the post-operative recovery and wound healing. Now in past surgical history, a detailed record of the past surgical history with the diagnosis, procedure, and post-surgical details is compulsory. History of blood transfusions, allergies, complications due to general anesthetics, muscle relaxants, reversing agents, etc. used also need to be elicited. History of treatment of facial bone fractures and usage of rigid fixation implants are also noted. Past dental history. In this, we note down the history of extraction, scaling, filling, root canal treatments, and minor surgical procedures, history of any implants or prostheses used, history of allergy or complications due to local anesthesia, eventful or uneventful post-extraction period, which is very important. Now, the family history, the age and health status of parents, siblings, and children, the cause of death of deceased family members, history of parental lineage, history of hypertension, diabetes, neoplasia, bleeding disorders, facial deformities, infectious diseases, asthma, etc. are noted. History of similar defect or disorder in the parent or immediate relative indicating inheritance. In social and occupational history, we identify the psychosomatic disturbances, history of recent travel. In occupation, the physical and environmental factors with emotional strain and stress may be reflected in the oral cavity. In case of glass factory workers, we can see silicosis or berylliosis. Commercial sex workers, healthcare workers, and surgeons may contract hepatitis or are at HIV risk. Radiologists have risk of leukemia. Personal history. In personal history, it gives us an overview of the patient's lifestyle. It gives us a better perspective apart from contributing to the diagnosis of the disease as well as the outcome of the treatment. It includes diet, that can be vegetarian or non-vegetarian, brushing habits like frequency, duration, method use, etc. Tobacco use, form of consumption, duration of habit, frequency of use, and location that we place it in the mouth. Alcohol abuse, duration, frequency, and quantity. In females, we note down the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, lactation, etc. Thank you.